So the first thing that we really focused on with the new contract was we wanted to hone in on the ADA and accessibility features. So the Securus tablets operate on a much newer version of the Android operating system, which gives us a lot more of the accessibility features that we are used to seeing on our phones. So it's very similar to the experience you would have on your cell phone you have. Securus also partnered with a ADA expert. Essentially, they are partnering with them to ensure compliance with all of the ADA world in the realm, and also helping them by making recommendations and helping them make the product more accessible for our population. Some of the ADA calling services that are available to the population via the tablets and the kiosks will be the VRS, TTY, TDD, and IP captioned telephone services. Additional value adds, just some of the tablet accessibility features. Sorry about the screenshot, it's kind of ugly. However, we do have a lot of things built into the tablets for both the hearing impaired and the visually impaired. Things such as text-to-speech and screen magnification. Basically everything that you would want on your phone to customize it to make the font larger, change the contrast, the background, so on and so forth.
Hi, Kyle. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. This is Jessica Blanian, but we're unable to see the tablet while you're presenting your PowerPoint. So could you turn off the PowerPoint and then we can spotlight the tablet, and that way we'll be able to see what you're doing.
All right, I can absolutely do that. All right. So like I was saying, just some of the ADA features and the functionality, being able for each IP to go in and customize exactly what they want the tablet to look like and how they want it to feel. There's several videos that we also put onto these tablets for the ADA accessibility features. And then as well as during tablet handout, we'll be focusing on providing ADA specific training to those that need it. So are visually and hearing impaired. We'll be able to walk through and set the tablets up for them. Some more value adds. Today with the VivePath tablets, if they have to be transferred to another institution, they turn their tablet in at R&R. When they get to their new institution, they would request a new tablet. However, with Securus, once we are fully transitioned, once they have a tablet, it will travel with them wherever they go. And within a few days, the tablet will work at their new facility. This is going to cut down on the incarcerated population needing, going a couple of weeks waiting for a request to be fulfilled by the technician at the sites. We've also been able to increase our investigative staff assigned to the project from 10 to 20 to help with the mass amount of communication that is flowing on these tablets on a daily basis. We've also will introduce what we've called an officer tablet. So the officers will have tablets in the housing units where they will potentially be able to just monitor the communication and and not be locked down to a desk. So it's just another tool for their tool belt. Our overall support staff for the project is also going to be increasing from roughly 60 to 100 employees that are dedicated to CDCR. That includes technicians that will be assigned to the institutions out there at the camps and in a headquarter capacity. Also, by working with Securus, we will now have our tablet and telephone services in one integrated platform for our staff. So they will no longer have to manage communication in two different places. And eventually, once we get everything turned up, we'll have dashboard and analytics on communication, stats, and some of the norms that we're seeing. I had a slide here for cost comparison, so I'm just going to go. These next 3 slides will be more about services and not on the tablet itself. So I'll just bring it up really quick and then I'll switch back. So telephone calls, the rate is actually going to be going down with Securus for telephone calls, video calls, e-messages, and photos. The amount of free video calls is actually the same. It's just changed how it's being billed, and then same with the e-messages. And then we have our premium services such as internet, radio, games, being able to print colored pictures, black and white pictures. They have the news and sports subscriptions, movie. And then one thing that we did want to highlight on is while everybody will receive, an earbud and a charger and over-the-ear headphones, as those devices break over time due to negligence, the IPs will be responsible for purchasing replacements of those devices. Just a quick highlight. So today, as of today, I believe we were at 16 camps and just under 1,000 tablets that we've already. It's pretty exciting. The camps have not had tablets with the current vendors, so we're able to put tablets out into the camps, which will mean we will most likely see an increase in people who are interested in going to the camps, because that was a concern we've had previously. And then the institutions, we anticipated starting to transition phone and tablet services about mid-November and running through all of the institutions through the end of March. These dates are tentative at this point in time, and we have been posting a copy of the schedule onto what is the CDCR public-facing website. So if you just Googled CDCR tablets, there's lots of information up there about the cost services and where we're at with the schedule and everything. And then I'll just highlight on Adobo, and then we'll turn it back to the tablet because we were running into issues with Adobo this morning. So Adobo is a corrections grade learning management system that Securus is providing for us. It has tons and tons of courses and content in there. CDCR leverages it for hosting our restricted housing unit documents and coursework. And outside of that, we're not really using it for any merit or credit earning purposes. So I will stop sharing and go back to the tablet, and we can pop through a couple of things. All right, so the next one, we'll just touch on communication services. So Securus offers an app that the friends and family will be able to download, create accounts. And by doing this, they will then be able to find incarcerated and be able to begin e-messaging, receive video calls from the incarcerated, sending photo clips and sending video clips to the incarcerated. It's both an Android and an iOS, and it can be accessed from just a regular web-based URL. IPs have the ability to call any phone number not blocked by the department or by friends and family at their request. It's I think right now we're averaging about 125 million minutes per month of phone calls. Another way that we've been leveraging these tablets is we are going to host what we've considered CDCR content. Items such as the Title 15 DOM, the healthcare DOM, most recently a lot of BPH forms. And we actually put the BPH forms in there in several different languages. We have parole justice videos and other CDCR approved content. So we get lots of memos that come to the team that they want posted. We get stuff for restricted housing unit. My co-partner here is kind of just dialing through a couple of the different options there just to show. And when you open these up, they look like a PDF, and you can scroll through, tab through the pages. The next thing I wanted to highlight on was LexisNexis. So we offer LexisNexis on the tablets. This gives the incarcerated access to it, but it also allowed us to move away from the offline law library computers that we had throughout the institutions that were not readily available or easily accessible all the time. So it's another opportunity to put the information into the hands of the incarcerated more easily. And then as we continue to transition to Securus, once we're fully transitioned, the department as a whole will look at how we want to expand the usage of these tablets, what additional applications we're interested in putting onto them, and things along those lines. There's already a lengthy list of asks from all areas of the department. And most recently, someone asked if we could put access to CDCR's public-facing websites, where we post things for policy changes and or anything that's around regulations. One other thing we could highlight on real quick too is just the premium content. So, you know, I touched on it a little bit with the cost worksheet, but they have the ability to do movie subscriptions, music, podcasts, lots of stuff to keep themselves entertained over time. And that is all I have for an actual presentation. So if anybody has any questions, I can do my best.
Yes, do any members of the board have any questions or comments for the presenter?
I have a question.
Okay.
Do you have a program, or are you working on a program for sex offenders?
So I'm only responsible for the IT component of it. However, you know, if we get a request from BPH to work on something, we can definitely work on it. I'm not aware of one currently in the queue, but that doesn't mean we can't work on it.
I have a, oh, go ahead, please.
You said you're in charge of the IT portion of it. Sometimes we get write-ups that guys have tampered with the tablet. I mean, what's the purpose of that? And do you know how it is that they'll be tampering with it? That it would, are they just worried about it being damaged? I mean, there's nothing really inside it of any value, is there?
From my experience, what will happen is if they do try and tamper with it and open it up, they're using the components for other purposes. Would be one from a software perspective. We have seen with the prior vendor, they try and manipulate the software to bypass the security controls. So those would be the two scenarios that I could see playing out.
So if they try to, you know, get other things that are not authorized on here, and I know in the past there were like cards or, you know, little cards that they could try to sell on the yard or whatever to get movies and things like that that weren't allowed. Is there an alert or something that tells you, or do you have to physically inspect it?
So from a physical standpoint, these new tablets actually have a tamper alarm. They are very loud if you try and open them up to get anything out. I learned that one the hard way on a call. The headphones in and they set one off and it blew my eardrums out. From the software perspective, you know, we're always looking for opportunities to improve ways to detect if the software has been tampered with. But from my experience, you know, these are pretty robust at this point and we haven't experienced any of them.
I have a question, Pat Cassidy. Is there any self-help type programming besides Adobo on the tablet?
As far as specific self-help stuff, you know, if it's something the department wanted to make available. So I know we have like Parole Justice Works videos. We have some stuff from Healing Through the Creative Process. DRP has worked closely with us. They always have stuff they're wanting to put onto the tablets as well.
Are they,
you know,
is there anything on there already?
So it looks like we do have some podcasts. My helper just pulled some stuff up, and go back to the FYI app.
Kyle, if you don't mind me jumping in, we do have videos from Parole Justice Works that is about the parole hearing process and preparing for the parole hearing process, PJW also is working on a written curriculum that will go on. So there are some things already on, but more planned in the works.
Okay. And then my second question is, if they do take Adovo courses, is there a way for them, so that it can be presented to us, to print out what they've taken? And, you know, sometimes we get a printout, and I don't know if the counselors are doing it for them, but there's a printout with what program they took and kind of a little summary of the program, and then how many hours they were in how long the program was, and then how many hours they attended. So is there a way for them to print that out, or does that have to be done by a counselor or something? Do you know?
So there's actually a few ways. So most of the time, Adovo offers them the ability upon release that they can go ahead and actually get access to all of those transcripts of courses they completed, right? If they're still incarcerated, I believe their loved ones have the ability to do it for them, and then they would basically send that to them. And then
can we do it? Would there be a way for us to do it ourselves?
Staff do have the ability to look into the system. However, we have not really leveraged it because the department never really took a stance on awarding any merit to the courses being completed in Adovo.
I see.
It was strictly for personal enrichment.
Okay, thank you.
Kyle, this is Commissioner Weiss. Is there a solution somewhere either in there or that could be in there that would or could enable confidential attorney-client communications, either telephonic or messaging or documentary or email alike?
Not today. The department will still use the same process they have for attorney calls. We have not looked at implementing something like that, mainly because we have to offer the same services between both vendors during transition. However, if the department decided to look into it in the future, it could be something we could look at.
Kyle, is there any kind of orientation or like how-to classes, especially some people like those with mental health problems, or I know you talked about some of the ADA accommodations, but like, is there an orientation so people learn how to use those and how to work through the tablet?
Yeah, there's a couple of little cheat sheets. I know there's one that we've been handing out at the tablet go lives for the camps recently. However, when we do hand these tablets out, we have trainers on site who are working with all of the IPs. In addition to that, we also look to train what we consider kind of like a super user, right? So we kind of look for somebody in that housing unit who is either part of the advisory councils or part of some of the groups, and we try and train them up with as much as we can. But yes, there are some cheat sheets. I'm not sure where they are buried right here, right now.
And we're working on this one for the TVs as well.
Yes, and then we will be coming up with a short video that we're going to be playing on the DRP TV about some of the features and functionalities of the tablets. And we plan to start playing those before we go live and during go lives.
Are there any other questions or comments for our presenter?
Yeah, actually, I do have a question. And the question I had is relevant to the issuance of these tablets to the incarcerated. Are they asked to sign some sort of a document understanding what their regulations would be to use it and define specifically inappropriate ways to use it? And in particular, I'm thinking of individuals who have sexual crimes against minors who might use it to be in communication with minors. Is there anything of a document that tells them what their regulations are?
They do have to acknowledge a user agreement. However, I'm not sure if the one you're honing in on is, if that use case is captured in there. I would have to go back and look at that closer. But but there will be a user agreement that they agree to from Securus, and then there will be one that CDCR has put together, and it just is kind of more high level than the Securus one.
Fair enough. And just kind of background on that, normally that's communicated by their correctional counselor. So if the counselors are kind of disconnected from the tablet issuance process, then the specific criteria that they may have in terms of who they're not allowed to be in communication might be missed. I was just curious if there was.
Okay. It's a good point. I'm actually going to take a note of that one.
This is Commissioner Purcell. 2 questions. They're a bit related. Are the phone calls recorded, and are they identified as coming from a correctional institution? That may be an old-fashioned question, but is it so with this tablet?
Yes. So phone calls that originate from an institution, so say the incarcerated is calling from Avenal, it has the same number that comes across every single time, and each institution has their own. There's also an admonishment that plays at the beginning, just saying that these phone calls are recorded. All of the phone calls are recorded and stored for 7 years at this point.
Thank you. Any other questions or even comments for this presenter? Well, thank you very much for this informative information on this tablet. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last presentation today is also about the tablets used by